Hello friends, and welcome to West Bloomfield 911. I'm Officer Rick, and on behalf of Chief Mike Patton and my brothers and sisters in the West Bloomfield Police Department, we're glad you're here watching another exciting show. Today we have not just a wonderful guest, but a true friend of law enforcement and someone I've come to know and respect over the last couple years. We're very glad she's with us. Please welcome Debbie Swofford. Debbie, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. So glad to see you here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, now don't run away.
Okay.
We're going to do a segment we call the Corner Spotlight, where we're going to recognize someone in the police department, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Okay?
All right.
Folks, if you look on the screen, you will see the smiling countenance of Pastor Jack Freed. Pastor Jack is the senior chaplain in the police department, and he's been with us since 2011. Here in West Bloomfield, actually, because he has been with the PD for 9 years, but he also was with the West Bloomfield Fire Department as their chaplain prior to joining the police department. I asked Pastor Jack what his favorite food was, and he said bacon and eggs. And I've got to tell you, Jack, I agree with you. That is one of the best aromas when you wake up in the morning and you smell that bacon wafting through the house. His favorite book is A Child's Garden Verses by Robert Louis Stevenson, which was written in 1885. And I was surprised to hear him say that his favorite movie is Groundhog Day, the 1993 Bill Murray film. His favorite music, and he said he's rather eclectic in his taste in music, and he is. He likes country western, hymns, classical music, and he said he loves to listen to radio, WRCJ, classical in the morning and jazz at night. And he said on his alarm, he has a Sousa alarm to wake him up in the morning. As far as his accomplishments and hobby, he loves being able to change with the times. For instance, he said when he was young, he used to love to play basketball, but now what he really loves to do is work his blog and his Jack's Winning Words Ministry, which he says is for him as well as it is for others. And I'll tell you, I'm on Jack's email list, and I get that winning word note every day, and I look forward to it. It's really a wonderful thing. And keep it up, Jack. I don't know what I'd do if I had to start the day without it. When I asked him as far as his favorite quote, he said it's from the Gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 22, verses 34 through 40. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the great and foremost commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And of course, he's quoting Jesus. And as many of you probably know, because Jack is an institution here in the West Bloomfield area, he was also the founder of Holy Spirit Lutheran Church over at Orchard Lake and Green Road. Jack, we're glad to have you as part of the team as the senior chaplain. We hope you'll be serving the people of West Bloomfield and the officers of West Bloomfield for many years to come. Jack, I'll see you at the barn. We're going to turn the corner spotlight off on Pastor Jack Freed, and we are going to go to the law enforcement fact of the day. Now, folks, I told you before that in 1791, the first American law enforcement officer was killed in the line of duty. And that is on January 3rd, 1791, Constable Darius Quimby of the Albany County, New York Constable's Office was the first known American officer killed in the line of duty. Now I'm sure there were some before him when they had the night watch and other forms of law enforcement, but he is the first recorded officer killed. And things really haven't changed all that much. Like it is today, Officer Quimby was ambushed serving a writ of ejectment. So he was doing his job, his duty, and what might seem to be inconsequential or minor cause, an officer dies, and that's the way it was with Constable Quimby. So that is our fact of the day, and we will honor Constable Quimby in a memorial in another show, but we wanted to bring him forth because he was the first. Unfortunately, he wasn't the last. So folks, thank you for watching. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Debbie Swofford of the Fraternal Order of Police. Don't go away.
You're watching West Bloomfield 911 on Civic Center TV, a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. For more information or to watch episodes on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/WB911. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
After the tragic loss of an officer in the line of duty, Michigan Concerns of Police Survivors provide support to surviving law enforcement families and co-workers. To learn more about My Cops and upcoming events, or for information on how you can help, visit micops.org or call 877-464-2677.
Hello, and we are back. I want you to welcome, please, Debbie Swofford. Debbie is the Michigan Auxiliary President of the Fraternal Order of Police. Debbie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You know, today on that law enforcement fact of the day, we mentioned Officer Quimby, who was killed in the line of duty, and it's appropriate that we remember him today with you being our guest, because you have dedicated your life to helping families and honoring officers that have been killed in the line of duty. And in fact, you recently came from a funeral of a law enforcement officer who was killed. And I find it, I mean, it's wonderful that you do this, and we're very thankful that you are, but I also thought it was a bit ironic, because as you and I spoke before the cameras rolled, you have been married to a firefighter, a Warren firefighter who's retired now, and you are working to help law enforcement. Does he see you as a traitor?
No, not at all. Not at all. My brother-in-law is actually how I got started with the law enforcement aspect of it. The Warren area didn't have any type of auxiliary or anything, but law enforcement and firefighters, they mesh together. Legislation, so much of the legislation benefits one that benefits the other. So the two of them tie together really closely. So it just worked out well that I could do both. But yeah, my brother-in-law is the law enforcement end, and my husband's the firefighter, and my sister and I are the crazy ones that married them.
You're the ones in between keeping them separated, right?
No, not even. They're both, the two of us kind of sit in a corner and go, I don't know about these two.
They both have to have a crazy sense of humor and a strange way of looking at life.
Yes, yes. I've always said that it takes somebody with just a little bit of a sick twist to be a police officer or a firefighter, and it takes somebody with even more of a sick twist to marry them.
Want to marry them, that's right. Yeah, I know that from my own home life. I've often say I'm blessed that my wife can understand a cop's sense of humor. Now, where does your brother-in-law work at, or where did
He's
he work
retired
at?
from Hazel Park.
Okay, well, God bless them both. We're glad that they reached the promised land of retirement. So,
Yes, yes.
well, let's talk a little bit about what you do with the Fraternal Order of Police, because many people may not know the F.O.P. Does a variety of things, and one of the things, for instance, when I was a railroad police officer with the Consolidated Rail Corporation, we had the Fraternal Order of Police National Labor Relations Board as our bargaining unit. So, but they're also a fraternal organization to have policemen get together and everything. What is your function as an auxiliary of the F.O.P.?
The auxiliary is made up of family members of the law enforcement officers that are the Fraternal Order of Police. We are the spouses, parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, any law enforcement officer that belongs to the that is a Fraternal Order of Police member. The auxiliary is made up of their family members. In Michigan, they represent both the labor relations and fraternal. Some lodges are fraternal, strictly fraternal, and others, it's their labor.
Right.
So we're the family members of them.
You're there to help. No, that's
yes,
okay.
we're there. We're there to. Our job is to support them in their endeavors. Every lodge is different. Every lodge has their own goals, their own ideas for what they constitute.
Sure.
Is what they want their lodges to be part of and what they want to do, and their auxiliary is their support. It's their backup. The F.O.P. basically has what I call three branches.
Okay.
There's the F.O.P, which is the law enforcement officers. There is the associate members, which is community supporters,
Okay.
business owners in the community, and friends of the F.O.P. And then you've got the auxiliary, which is the family members.
Which is the family. Probably the most important part. Because without
That's
family,
what I
it makes it
always.
a lot harder.
That's what I
right.
always say. Nobody's going to, other than your partner on the street, nobody's going to have your back or watch out for what you need and what you need to have happen better than your own family.
That's absolutely right. And let's touch on that for a minute, because you and I met under unfortunate circumstances, and in fact, that's probably how you've met a lot of people over the years, is under unfortunate circumstances. And we met when Sergeant Patrick O'Rourke of our department was killed in line of duty, and you approached us so that you and offered your services and the F.O.P. services to help the O'Rourke family through those very difficult times. And I can say that it was very much appreciated, not just by us, but by the O'Rourkes as well. And now you've kept in touch not just with us, but with Amy as well. So it's sometimes a hard way to make friends.
It is.
But we're glad you're there, believe me.
I like Dan O'Rourke's, Pat's dad, I like his quote, "Some of the greatest people I wish I had never met."
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Absolutely. Well, you're not only involved with the F.O.P. I'm looking at your biography here, and you have volunteered for Michigan Concerns of Police Survivors, which is My Cops. You've been there for 15 years, and you're still part of My Cops, correct?
I still volunteer for them.
You've gone to National Police Week for the past 3 years, and I've got to tell you that I went last year, and that is if you're part of the law enforcement family, you have to go there.
Everyone should go once.
Yes, it's a magnificent experience. It's a heart-wrenching experience, but it's also a very uplifting experience to see all these people who have this common bond and this common desire to support the families and remember those who have died in the line of duty. And you've been doing it for some time. So your heart is truly there helping people in public safety. And I know you get paid a ton of money for doing it.
Oh yeah, I'm
don't you?
wealthy as all get out from this.
But that's what makes it a gift, is that it's a volunteer, and you are volunteering to do all this. And as I was telling another guest, that's what a gift really is. A gift is giving something without a desire for compensation. And so you have a good heart, and we appreciate all you do. Now, you're also part of the Michigan Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, and you've been there for 6 years. What is that? Tell the folks what that is about, what you do there.
I've been helping them out for the past 6 years. The Michigan Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund is it's the drive to get the Michigan Monument built. There is a spot in Lansing. It is a couple blocks west of the Capitol.
Yes.
And it's right by the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, and they've been trying for many years to get this thing built, and the past 6 years, since I became the president of the Michigan F.O.P. Auxiliary again, that's been one of our main focuses. That's been a drive that I've been pushing really hard for. It's long overdue.
Yeah.
The officers that have been killed in the line of duty, they deserve it.
Yeah.
Their family members deserve it.
Yes.
Their loved ones, their departments. The state of Michigan deserves it.
Right.
It's long overdue, so my big thing is push, get it done. And they're close. They're very close.
Well, I agree with you. For instance, we have one here in Oakland County for public safety. I know there's one in Wayne County for law enforcement. And I think it's imperative that as a state we remember all of our brothers and sisters throughout the state that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Now, the one in Lansing, if you can tell me, is that going to remember just fallen Michigan officers, or will that also remember, let's say, federal officers who have died in Michigan? Do you know what the parameters are?
I believe it's going to be Michigan and federal. I know that there's been a lot of talk back and forth about exactly who would be on it,
Yeah.
and they're going to have kiosks at the end of it so that
Sure.
it'll show you exactly,
Where they're
where the officers are from, and all that stuff. But I believe it's going to include the federal as well.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Excellent. And is this on state land out there?
Yes.
It was, okay. So was that land that the Memorial Fund had to purchase, or was that donated by the state?
I'm not positive on that. That goes back.
Before your time?
Yeah. I mean, this has been in the making for a really long time. And I know a lot of the legislative end of it happened before I got really involved with it. I've been, like I said, probably the last 6 years is when I've been doing a lot more and working with the commission a little bit more and helping
Yes.
them out. But yeah, this is their baby, and I'm just.
You're the head caretaker right now.
I'm the one who keeps people thinking about it. That was my goal, was to have the auxiliary push to get it back on the front burner, because it's been there and people knew it was there, but there wasn't the drive for it that there should have been. And that was one of the things that I thought we could really work with them on, is keeping it in the forefront of people's minds.
Well, let me ask you, can the public help with this at all?
Absolutely. They can go to, there's a website, it is MLEOM.org.
Okay.
And they can go through there. They can view the plans for it. They can make donations there. You can contact me at MIFOP at yahoo.com. MIFOPAUX at yahoo.com, and I can hook you up with the commission.
Okay.
Or you can even check with your local law enforcement officers. They'll be able to get you in touch with the commission and to make donations.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hopefully people will find it in their heart to open up and help support this worthy cause, to remember these men and women who have not died in vain.
From what I'm told, the first glass panel is supposed to be going up this fall.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
Great.
Which is absolutely amazing. I
Yes.
can't wait.
Yeah, right.
I'm
right.
very excited about it. I know a lot of people are, but yeah,
Yes.
the first glass panel should be going up. And the finished design is going to be 13 glass panels illuminated from the base and
Wow.
with the names etched in them. And
Yeah.
I'm
That'll
excited.
Be amazing.
Yes,
That'll be
it
amazing,
will.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go out there and see that myself. Now, let me ask you, as the auxiliary for the F.O.P. and also being with my cops, give me a kind of what it's like to be Debbie Swofford during the day. You've got your hand in a variety of pots. What is it? How do you stay sane with your multiple tasking that you have to do?
I'm not really sure. I've had several people ask me how I manage to do it all, and how do I fit so much into a day. And I tell them that the days that I have so much to do and everything is structured, it's here, those are the days that go well. It's the days that I have an extra 10 minutes that I don't know what to do, and I start losing track and I lose focus. So I like to stay busy.
Yeah.
And I like to help.
Well,
there are so many worthy organizations.
Sure.
There are so many things that I can do to help.
Sure.
And so I do.
Well, now how do you tie in what you do through My Cops and the F.O.P.? Is there some crossover between the two organizations? Or are they two distinct organizations with two distinct functions? How do you work that? Or explain a little bit of that to us.
They're two distinct organizations with two distinct functions, but they cross.
Okay.
It's all supporting law enforcement officers. One is after an officer has died in the line of duty.
Meaning My Cops.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And the other is the everyday function.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the everyday function,
Yes.
but I also, we also want to be there if an officer is killed in the line of duty.
That's just the reality of our job.
Yes, it is. And they intermingle so well. My Cops was actually started by a member of the Fraternal Order of Police Auxiliary.
Oh, okay.
Carol Law, in 1987, I believe, there were, I want to say 10 officers that were killed in the line of duty.
Okay.
And Carol Law, who is a member of my home lodge, Lodge 130 in Ferndale, she and some of the other auxiliary members saw that there was a need
Yes.
there. So they contacted the national chapter of COPS, and in 1988, my COPS was formed. So yeah, Carol was very instrumental in getting that started.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what you do. Now, we've had some recent deaths of officers killed in the line of duty, and so now they contact you, or somebody contacts Debbie and says, Debbie, we've got this situation. The officer is being laid out on such and such a day. The officer is being buried on such and such a day. What do you do as a F.O.P. and or what do you do as a MyCops member?
F.O.P., well, actually, MyCops is the one that usually gets a hold of me, or if I hear something, I call them, and we just kind of go to work together.
Okay.
They let me know when things are going on, you know, what the schedules are and everything, and I'm not a member of MyCops. In order to be a member of MyCops, I would have to lose a law enforcement officer.
You don't want to be a member
That is,
of that.
nobody wants to be a member of that, and that's something that I've said a lot.
Yes.
MyCops is for the family members. MyCops is for the survivors. I am not a survivor. I'm a volunteer.
Yes.
Whatever you need, I'm there. So as an FOP member, I contact my state chapter to find out what they need from me.
Okay.
And then I contact the Grand Lodge Auxiliary of the FOP, because one thing that they do is every officer that's killed in the line of duty, they present a memory box. It is like a guest book for the funeral home.
Yes.
It's all law enforcement. It's the beautiful artwork.
I remember that, yes.
From Basmolay, and that's presented to the family. That's what I do as the national trustee. And as far as the MyCops end of it, I'm at the funeral. If they need me at the visitation for anything, I'm there. I usually go try and make it to the visitation. And then the funeral, I pin blue ribbons.
Okay.
One of the goals of MyCops has always been to have every chest that's at a fallen officer's funeral have a blue ribbon on it. Blue ribbons are in honor of fallen officers. The FOP that's one of our pet projects, is Project Blue Ribbon and Project Blue Light in the winter. So
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because you invited me a couple years ago. I wasn't able to go last year as I was off on an injury, but you invited me a couple years ago. You do that at a church in Hazel Park, and I don't know if you use the same church all the time, but why don't you tell the folks what that is, the Blue Light service?
Project Blue Light is actually the actual project of it is to encourage everyone to use a blue light in their holiday decorating in honor of fallen law enforcement officers, and in support of those that are still patrolling the streets. And then there are, I believe there's 4 in Michigan that I'm aware of. They actually have what they call a Project Blue Light ceremony, and it is it's just a prayer-based service where everyone can come to get together and honor fallen officers. You pay tribute to the ones that passed in the past year. It's just a way to. It's a good way to kick off the holiday season and to remember the fallen officers. I know Alpena. There's a MyCops survivor up there.
There's a Bay City one,
And Gloria up in Alpena, she's gotten to where she does Project Blue Light and Red Light. So she does police and fire. There's Midland and Bay City, and then the Southeast Michigan is the one that I've been putting together. I've coordinated the past few years.
Yeah, and I was at that one and the one in Bay City as well, and it's always a great honor to be invited and to go to those. Now let me ask you also, we only have a few minutes left. You said you contact the Grand Lodge. Where is that located? Is that a local thing, or is that out of
the
state?
Grand Lodge is actually located. FOP is actually located in Nashville. That's where their offices are.
All right.
So.
Okay, I would have thought D.C. for some reason, but I think that's because what a lot of people might not know is even though COPS is heavily involved in the Police Memorial for Law Enforcement Week, it is the F.O.P. that has one of the big events on the Capitol lawn where the president comes out and honors the families of fallen officers, and that's of course conducted by the Fraternal Order of Police.
Right.
And that's it's pretty amazing.
Yep.
When
Every
that
May
happens.
15th.
Yeah. Well, since we only have a couple minutes left, Debbie, what would you like to tell the folks about the Fraternal Order of Police and ways that they can help you? I know you gave the numbers out earlier. If you would like to reiterate those numbers and those email accounts, certainly do that, and give your pitch for the F.O.P.
The F.O.P., like I said, if nothing else, it's a support group. It's a fraternal group for law enforcement officers, and the auxiliary is their backup. And with all of the things that are going on in law enforcement and all the negative stuff that's happening now, we are finding that there are more people joining the F.O.P. There are more people looking for the camaraderie, and their family members are joining. We're chartering new auxiliaries all the time because the family members are stepping up and they're wanting to make a difference. And we fight legislation. Anything that we can do to help our law enforcement officers and make sure that their lives are better and safer.
Well,
that's what we do.
Well, we appreciate all you do and all the other folks do that have joined the Fraternal Order of Police and support law enforcement. And we'd like to remember a fallen officer now, Debbie.
Okay.
Folks, if you would, please look on your screen. You will see the face of Sergeant William Dickerson. I would like you to remember this great American hero in your thoughts and in your prayers. He is with the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. He was killed in the line of duty on September 11, 1991. We're remembering Sergeant Dickerson because he was a colleague of mine when I used to work for the Sheriff's Department, and I would like him to be remembered. He's a great hero. He was shot and killed when he interrupted an escape attempt. A prisoner was in the process of taking another deputy hostage when Sergeant Dickerson surprised him. The suspect shot and killed Sergeant Dickerson and attempted to escape with the deputy hostage, but he didn't have all the keys to get him completely out of the jail. The suspect gave up without further incident, and he was convicted of murdering a peace officer and was sentenced to life in prison. It was believed that the suspect's gun was smuggled into the Wayne County Jail by his brother. Sergeant Dickerson was survived by his wife and 2 daughters, and if you ever hear of the Dickerson facility in Detroit, that is named after this great American hero. So please remember in your thoughts and in your prayers, Sergeant William Dickerson of the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, my colleague. Please remember his family and his brothers and sisters in the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. And we say goodbye to this wonderful man. May you rest in peace, brother. Your memory will never be forgotten. And folks, I would like to thank you for watching West Bloomfield 911. And remember, you can always watch us on Civic Center TV, but if you can't catch us in the times that the show is posted, please go to the internet at your convenience on civiccentertv.com, and you can watch us there. I'd like to thank once again Debbie Swofford for joining us. Debbie, thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you.
She is the Michigan Auxiliary President for the Fraternal Order of Police. Folks, please support the F.O.P. They are a worthwhile cause. We thank you for watching, and please remember, take care of yourselves. Be safe. Tomorrow's promised to no one. I'm Officer Rick, and I'll see you again on West Bloomfield 911.